Here we'll see the Terzaghis bearing capacity theory, and this theory is used to find out the ultimate bearing capacity of a soil. So when we apply some load on a footing, so the maximum intensity of the loading that the soil can take before failing in shear is known as our ultimate bearing capacity, and that's what is obtained using this theory. So this theory is based upon limiting equilibrium approach. And what does this limiting equilibrium means? In the limiting equilibrium, we have done this earlier also, we try to balance the forces when the failure is just about to happen. Now there will be two forces that will be balancing each other. There will be a force that will be causing failure, and there will be a force that will be resisting failure. So what is the force here that is causing the failure? So the load that is being applied on the soil is our force that is causing failure. And what is the intensity or the maximum intensity of this loading? That is nothing but our ultimate bearing capacity. And the force which is resisting this failure is the shear strength of the soil. So this ultimate bearing capacity of the soil is obtained in terms of shear parameters. Now when we talk about statics, so this balance of forces is a part of statics. Now the statics consists of two conditions, that is the net force on the body should be 0 and the net moment on the body should be 0. In this Terzaghi's theory, only one of these conditions is satisfied, that is net force is 0 but net moment is not equal to 0. So this is a limitation of this theory. Now let's see the other assumptions which are made in this theory. So first is the footing is a strip footing, that means the length of footing is much greater than its width. So using this assumption, plane strain condition is implied. So this assumption means then we are talking about the plane strain condition. And the next one is the depth or the base of the footing is laid at a shallow depth. That means that depth of footing is less than equal to, or df by b is less than equal to 1. That is a case of shallow footing. The next one is the shear resistance between of the soil between surface and depth df is neglected. We know that when we place this footing, so it is placed at some depth df. So this soil which is there in this part, it will be giving some shear resistance to this footing. So that shear resistance is neglected. So what is assumed here? It is assumed that this level, the base of footing is a surface, and this footing is kept on this surface, and there is a surcharge up to depth df. So if the unit weight is gamma of this soil, so gamma df will be the value of surcharge. After that, in this case, the general shear failure is assumed and the shear strength is governed by Mohr-Coulomb criterion. Let's see how can we derive the equation for ultimate bearing capacity using this theory. So in this theory, the soil is divided into three zones. Let's see these zones one by one, starting with zone 1. So zone 1 is this zone which is made of this triangular wedge, that is ABD. So the soil in this zone, it is assumed to be a part of the footing itself. Why it is assumed so? Because this base of the footing is assumed rough and there will be friction between the soil and the base of the footing, and because of that the soil in zone 1 cannot go in any lateral direction and it will remain a part of the footing itself. So it is assumed like this. So what happens after that? So more about zone 1, as I said, it is a part of footing itself, and this soil in zone 1, it is in elastic equilibrium. So what happens after that? So it means when we put a load on this foundation, so the foundation or the footing along with the soil in zone 1, it is trying to move downward, and it can only go downward when this soil in zone 2 and zone 3 goes in the lateral direction. It means that the passive resistance offered by the soil in zone 2 and zone 3 should be overcome before the soil and the soil in zone 1 and the footing can go downward. So it means that the soil in zone 2 and zone 3 goes into plastic state. Now let's see one by one. This zone 2 is called as the zone of radial shear, and this curved shape of zone 2, it is of the shape of log spiral. So the radial direction of the shear can be taken as from the edge of the footing, so it will be this direction, that is the radial shear. After that, zone 3, it is called as zone of linear shear, and this zone is in passive Rankine state. Also in plastic equilibrium. So here it is assumed, or we know, that in case of passive Rankine state, the angle of failure, so this angle here with the horizontal, it is 45 minus 5 by 2. So this angle and this angle both are inclined at 45 minus 5 by 2. Now the ultimate bearing capacity, that is Qu, it is obtained by balancing the forces on this triangular wedge. So this triangular wedge we are taking, and we are balancing the forces at failure. So at failure, the total passive resistance, it is assumed, it is denoted with PP, and so the passive resistance, if we say that this triangular wedge here, it is rough, so we are considering it to be a rough wall, and these are two sides of the wall, and on the both the sides resistance will be there. So we know that this soil in the triangle as well as the soil outside of the triangle, it is the same soil, so it will be having same angle of internal friction. So the angle of this resultant force from this normal direction will be the angle of friction, because that is this angle of friction is defined as the angle between normal and the resultant, so that is our angle here. And so what are all the forces we are trying to balance? Let's say the width of the footing is B, so Qu is the load intensity or the maximum load intensity which is being applied from the top, and the weight of the soil which is in zone 1, it is also being applied in the downward direction, and what all is opposing this weight? The passive resistance, and so this passive resistance and the cohesion of the soil is resisting this force. So we can write the equilibrium equation which I said in the beginning, that is a force causing failure and force resisting failure. So we can write this equation. Now how can we write? We can write the downward force first, that is Qu into B, if we consider the unit width. So Qu into B is this force due to this loading plus weight of this soil wedge. So this distance here is B by 2, and this angle here is phi. These both angles are phi. So what will be this vertical distance? So tan phi can be given as, if this vertical distance is x, so x upon B by 2. So x is equal to B by 2 tan phi. So what will be the area of this triangular wedge? That will be equal to half into 2 into B by 2 tan phi into B by 2. This will cancel out. So the area is equal to B square by 4 tan phi. And if we multiply it by the unit weight into 1, that will give us the weight of the soil in this triangular wedge. So this downward force is 1 by 4 gamma B square tan phi. That is our total downward force. Now it is opposed by the total passive resistance, that is PP here and PP here. So 2 times PP, that is the passive resistance, plus there will be cohesion acting along this direction on the wall. So the component of the cohesion in the upward direction will be 2C sin phi. So this is the total force which is acting in the upward direction, and this is in the downward direction. So from here QU into B is equal to 2 times PP plus 2C sin phi minus 1 by 4 gamma B square tan phi. Now this total passive resistance is made of 3 things or 3 parts. What are those 3 parts? Part 1, the weight of soil in shear zone. So due to this weight of the soil in shear zone, that is zone 2 and zone 3, due to this weight the angle of friction will be mobilized, and that will be providing some shear, or we can say the passive resistance. That is our first part. It is denoted with P gamma. And second part is due to the soil cohesion. So that we saw that cohesion will also be resisting, or will be making the part of this passive resistance. So that we denote as PPC. And the third one is due to the surcharge. So we assume that there is a surcharge above this surface. So in this part this surcharge is there. So that surcharge is also offering some weight, and because of that weight the passive resistance is there. So the third part of passive resistance is PQ, where Q is the surcharge, which is equal to gamma dF. So this is the total passive resistance. We can write PP is equal to P gamma plus PPC plus PQ. And if we put this in this equation, so here we can write QU into B is equal to 2 into P gamma plus PPC plus PQ. And this capital C is the total cohesion. So on any surface, let's say, what was this? This is A and this is D. So on this surface AD, if total cohesion is C, so if we write the cohesion, that is cohesive stress, we can say that unit would be kilonewton per meter square. So small c into AD into 1, we can write it as that is total value of cohesion. And from here small c is equal to capital C upon AD. And what is the value of this AD? This angle is phi, this distance is b by 2. So this AD is equal to b by 2 upon cos phi. And if you put this value here, so from this capital C we can replace with b by 2 upon cos phi. So sin phi upon cos phi will make tan phi. This is b tan phi minus 1 by 4 gamma b square tan phi. Now Terzaghi put some assumption, or we can say that this 2 into P gamma minus 1 by 4 gamma b square tan phi, it is replaced with half gamma b and gamma into b. That is, in this term we are putting the effect of soil weight in shear zone. and after that the next term is 2p pc plus bc tan phi. So in this term is replaced by b into c and c, and is this in this term we are putting the effect of cohesion, and the last term is p pq. So this term is replaced as b into q and q, and this term we are showing the effect of surcharge. So if you put these values in this equation, so from here the bearing capacity is obtained as Qu is equal to C and C plus Q and Q plus half gamma V and gamma. So that is our required equation. So here you need to know the assumptions of this theory and how we have obtained, like the zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, that you should know, and this final formula is the most important one. So this formula gives the ultimate bearing capacity. And if we want to find out the net ultimate bearing capacity, so it means that we have to reduce the surcharge. So Qu minus Q would give us the Qnu, that is equal to net ultimate bearing capacity, which is equal to CNC plus NQ minus 1 into Q plus half gamma B and gamma. Now here these NC, NQ and N gamma, these are given by Terzaghi's and are known as Terzaghi's bearing capacity factors. And this value of NC can be given as NQ minus 1 cot phi. The value of NQ is given as A square upon 2 cos square 45 plus 5 by 2, and this value of A here is given as e to the power 3 pi by 4 minus 5 upon 2 tan phi, and the value of N gamma is given as half tan phi kp gamma upon cos square phi minus 1, and kp gamma is the coefficient of passive resistance. Now here the thing is, these factors are only depending upon the angle of internal friction, nothing else, because this kp gamma, it is also a function of angle of internal friction, and as the value of phi increases, the value of nc, nq and n gamma, it also increases. Now the modification of this equation for a clayey soil. So for clayey soil, phi is equal to 0, and from that it is obtained by Terzaghi as Nc is equal to 5.7, Nq is equal to 1 and N gamma is equal to 0. So if you put them in the equation, that is our basic equation, CNC plus QNQ plus half B N gamma into gamma. So here if you put these values, so Qu is equal to 5.7 C plus Q, and this term is 0. So this is the value of ultimate bearing capacity, and the net ultimate bearing capacity is given as 5.7 C, because this Q will be deducted. So this is value for cohesive soil. Next we will see the different modifications in the Terzaghi bearing capacity equation for different kind of footing, that is rectangular footing and circular footing, all those cases.